everyone. We're going to do another new project tonight. This is from the new transfers that came in. We have the chicken and the rooster and some of the little cute sayings that go with it. So I have it all laid out on my board here. I always like to lay it out and make sure it's going to look right so there's no surprises. And pull this off of here. Now these are going to overlap the edge. The chicken's going to fit, but the transfer is going to go over the side of my my frame right there. So I'm going to put some blue painter's tape just to protect the transfer. I don't want the transfer to stick to that, so I'm just going to lay down some blue painter's tape. I always keep this handy because you can use this if you're working with a transfer that is too close to the edge and you want to make sure that you don't get the paint onto your board. You just put down a little bit of the painter's tape to cover that. All right, I think that's going to cover it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do Main Street Market, and we're going to use aquamarine. This is a retired color, but I have several jars of it. It's real close to Couture teal, just a little bit lighter. And then our candy apple red and our bright white. So we're going to have 3 colors. So this part has not been used yet. I used some of the other ones earlier today. So I'm going to fuzz this on my shirt. I have a flannel shirt on, so this should work really well. And then I'm just going to line it up here at the top. And I think I can eyeball this pretty good. And smooth that out. Get out all the little bubbles. And then I'm going to put a little bit of our chalk paste. And chalk paste can thicken out over time. So when you open up your jar to stir it, if it's too thick, you're going to want to just spritz it with some water. You want it to be the consistency of yogurt or sour cream. You want to be able to spread it nicely, have it go through the silk screen, not be chunky. You're going to go back and you're going to remove the excess. Make sure it's nice and smooth so that when we pull this transfer, it's going to look nice underneath. So when you pull your transfer, I like to fold the edges under. I usually do that before I put it down. And then you're going to pull it sideways. You don't want to go diagonally. You don't want any of that to get stretched. This is going to go into a water bath over here. Basically, a water bath is a container with water in it. And that will just keep it from drying on the transfer. So I can see at the top that there's a little bit that went above that, and you can just clean that up with a Q-tip. I like these pointy ones that you use for makeup, and this stuff is just water based. You could wash this whole thing off if you didn't like the way it turned out, or you can seal it at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry this. This is a heat gun that I got from Uline. You're just going to continually move it so it doesn't bubble your chalk paste. And then I'm going to turn it down to where it's just air so that it returns the board to room temperature. Alright, so then I'm going to feel it and make sure before I put my next transfer down because I don't want to have anything happen to my transfer. So the next one's going to overlap that just a little bit, and you can see I need a little more blue painter's tape right up here in the corner. Just going to unfold that, put this up here. This is kind of chalky, so I don't want it to get onto the transfer. It will adhere to the back of the transfer. This one I used earlier today, so I don't need to fuzz this. I just need to pull it off of the backer. And it's going to overlap just a touch, so I'm going to take a piece of the backer, I'm going to put it just like that so that this does not get stuck onto the other chalk paste and pull it up. So it might be a little tricky. I'm going to get it nice and even. I'm going to press it down. This I'm going to do in the candy apple red. And I've stirred it up as well. I always get everything ready ahead of time. Get all my supplies out so that I'm not wasting your time. So we could use a small little cut in half squeegee or the multi-tool. So I'm going to show you this. This is great for little small areas, and it's also great to stir your chalk paste with. The other end has a little hook here that you can scrape your jar to get all the stuff that gets caught under the lid. You use that to scrape that down. So you want to take care of your chalk paste as well as your transfers. Your transfers you can use over and over. So you're always going to make sure that you get them in a water bath right away so that that chalk paste does not dry into the silk screen. And you always want to work pretty quickly so it doesn't dry in there. You want to make sure that you get a nice clean image on there. I can see that my D is just a little bit, there is a little issue with that. I can see that. No one else probably can, but so you could take your Q-tip, or you could take a little stylus. This is just something that artists use for doing dots or tracing, and you can just kind of smooth that out while it's dry, or I'm sorry, while it's wet before it's dry. And now we're going to dry that. We'll take away this. So you'll see it change color. The red gets darker. Each color is a little bit different, but you can tell that it's drying because it's changing color. So I'm continually moving this so that it doesn't bubble it. And I'm going to put it on just air. Get it back down to room temperature. You would never want to put your transfer on a hot surface because the sticky may stick really bad. So you want to take care of these guys. They'll last you a long time. You can use them over and over and over. And this one is brand new. So I'm going to fuzz this. And these larger transfers, it's easier to take them and fuzz half of it at a time. So I'm just gonna peel it back. And then I'm gonna flip it over. And then an easy way to do this is to actually pull the towel off of here. And I'm only going to do it once. I'm going to get the hair out of there. So I'm shedding again. do not want the hair into our chalk paste. Okay, so then I'm gonna pull this back, and I did wax this board. This is not a Chalk Couture board, so I did wax the surface. A lot of the Chalk Couture boards you do not have to wax, but this one is from Michaels. I get my surfaces from many different places: Hobby Lobby, Michaels, Walmart, Amazon. We cut some of them with our laser. And some I buy from Chalk Couture. So I've fuzzed both sides, and now I'm just going to hold the backer sheet completely off of this transfer. Just like that. Carefully making sure that it's not going to stick onto itself. You don't want to damage it. This is going to go about right here. I want to make sure that I have equal distance and that it's not crooked. And I want a little bit up here, and then at the bottom, so I'm going to move that up just a little bit, because you know this is going to need to go right here to protect that. I'm going to move that right there. And make sure I have room for this and this. It's always a good idea to double check. That will go there because this will overlap. Okay, so then you want to smooth. I start at the center on the bigger transfers, and I go out to the side. And you don't have to push this all down. You just need where the transfer has the openings here, where you can see through. That is the important part, because that's where you don't want the bubbles. So you're just going to smooth this out. This is going to be in bright white, and it's going to need quite a bit. We're going to use our handled squeegee to do this one. So I'm just going to put some here and there, and I'm going to take out, there is a lump. I'm going to take that out and put on a paper towel. Don't need any thick lumps in there. Okay, that should be enough. This is our handled squeegee, and it's pretty awesome to do big areas. You're just going to start working this stuff and just keep going over the different areas at a different angle, making sure that you fill in all of the open spaces. And then you're just going to start smoothing it out. You're going to scrape the excess back into your jar. You're going to continue to make sure that this is smooth. And then we're going to pull this transfer. I'm going to bend these edges down. If I had a bigger board, then this would be stuck way to the bottom or way to the onto the board. This is pretty easy. I'm going to pull this transfer carefully. Yay, look at how awesome it is. Okay, and then this is going into my water bath. I'm making sure it's not going to fold in half. So using the larger size transfers can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. See how easy that was? Was not difficult. Now I'm going to dry this. I'm going to turn it to just air. And I'm going to test it and see, make sure it's not too hot. So if you don't have a heat gun, which it's not a requirement to have one, so you could just use a hairdryer, or you could use a craft heat gun that's, they make them and they're only about 20 bucks. The one from Uline is an industrial one and it's a lot more, but you don't have to have that. You can use what you have, or you can wait. You can walk away, you can do another project. This is gonna, oh, this is gonna go up here. Okay, so I am gonna do this in red, and then I'm gonna do, no, actually, I'm gonna do this in aquamarine. That sounds good. So this has not been used, so I'm gonna fuzz this on my shirt one time. I'm gonna figure out where it's gonna go here. I'm gonna lay that there so that it covers the feet, so this doesn't pull up any of that chalk paste. I'm gonna center this. Looks pretty even. And make sure this is gonna fit. One on this side, and then I'm gonna use it over like that. It looks like it needs to move over. If in doubt, pull out your measuring tape and see where is the center. Okay, so this is 6 3/4 is my center. Okay, so my center is like right here. My center of these words is actually the F. Okay, so it needs to go over. So I have 3 and 3. Okay, so it needs to go over to the left. So you can just stop and take your time. You don't have to be in a hurry. You can use a better tape than this. This is just what I had handy. Okay, so now it needs to go back. All right, so, all right. Let me see. That looks good. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. This is your art. Make sure that's still gonna fit down there. We're gonna put a little piece of painter's tape here to protect that. So this is gonna be in the aquamarine. I'm just gonna spread that on there. And then I have my squeegee from before. You're going to put the excess back in your jar. Now make sure when you're done that you clean your jar lids. The edge of your jar, sorry. The edge of your jar. Before you close this, you're going to stir this whole thing up. You're going to get all those little crusties down inside of there. And then you're going to wipe the ridge with a wet paper towel before you put that lid on, because it will stick and it's not fun to try to get them off. So you're just going to peel this back carefully. This is going to go into the water bath. And then I'm going to dry this real quick. Okay, these little guys I'm going to do in white. So there's one on one side, and then you're going to flip it and it's going to go on the other side. And I'm just going to put more of this. So yes, I use a lot of this, but I actually could peel this off and roll it back onto here and use it for something else if I wanted to. We use a lot of this with our laser too. So we buy these by the big bulk ones from Home Depot. Okay, so I have this little transfer here. I am going to protect this. I want to make sure that I can have this be even here, but I don't want to lay this down onto my word. So I'm going to go like that. This is going to be in white. I am just going to take a little squeegee. I'm going to dip a little bit into there. Just really easily gonna do that. And then I'm going to pull this, and we're going to do it on the other side. I'm going to just flip it just like this. It's going to go right in there. And you can do this, you can use the same one a couple of times before it dries. Put that right underneath there just to protect that. And there's enough chalk paste on this that I can just go ahead and spread it. Okay. All right, so one more thing and we're done. I'm gonna go ahead and dry this. Okay, make sure it's not hot. And if you put your hand there, it will take out some of the heat. So if it's hot, you can just set your hand on there and it will actually absorb the heat. This is going to go at the bottom. And I am just going to put that right there once I figure out where my center is. So okay, I think it's approximately right there. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm just going to, we're going to push this out. I'm going to center it. Okay, I'm just going to push here. I'm not going to push the other part down. So this is going to be in our red. And once again, I'm just going to use our little multi-tool. We only need a little bit of this. The red is just kind of giving it a splash of color in here. This is a little bit too dry, but I think we're going to be okay. Just going to push it hard down into those letters and numbers. Let's see how that looks. Okay, perfect. What's that? That I. All right, just like that. Okay. So this project literally took us just a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15, and it's all done. So I will seal this with clear sealer. I like to use a Krylon or Rust-Oleum matte sealer. And what I do is I will seal it. I'll spray like 3 times across it. Then I'll go inside and I'll set my timer for 30 minutes. And then I'll go back out and do that again. Set my timer for 30 minutes and then I'll go out and I'll do it one more time. So you can spray it and seal it and it'll be permanent. It's not going to come off. It's not going to smear. I'm going to take this to a craft show. And I'm not going to worry if it starts to rain and a little bit of rain gets on it. It's not going to ruin it. It's going to be waterproof. And how do I know that? I learned the hard way. I did not have my signs sealed completely. I got 3 drops of water on 3 signs and it puddled up and it ruined them. So if you want them permanent, then you want to seal them. If you want to be able to remove them, then don't worry, don't seal them, and you can remove it. It's water soluble, and in 6 months, if I wanted to change this, I could come back and I could just take a Clorox wipe and I could lay it across there, get the moisture started on it, come back in 5 minutes, and then start wiping it, and it would all come off. So let me know if you have any questions. This is one of our new transfers. Like I said, we have over 120 new transfers, and they are available online. I'll put my website at the bottom. And if you're interested in joining Couture, I can answer any of those questions for you. It's a really fun company. You can do this just for crafting. You can get into it and just make gifts. You get a 40% discount, which is really a great discount. And then you can buy all your stuff and make gifts for your family, for your friends, for your house. Or if you wanted to, you can go out and do make and takes and have people sign up, and you can have them make these signs. And that's a pretty fun way. A lot of people are doing that nowadays, and just have some get-togethers with friends and make a little money that way. Or you can take your product and finished product, your chalk paste, your transfers, and sell it at craft shows. It's up to you. It's whatever you decide that you want to do. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll be making some more signs again soon. I have a lot of new ones, so a lot more fun things to come. Thank you for joining me.